Yeah, so let us start, guys. Uh, so I'm glad all of you guys are such much more interested in the world of RF hacking. Uh, First, I would like to thank SECARMY for letting me, give this webinar in front of all of you guys, in front of all of you guys who are actually interested in the world of RF hacking. So, let me just start it with first, start with the word like RF hacking 101. What does that basically mean? So RF basically means as radio frequencies, obviously, as you all guys might have read about it. And 101 means the basics. By basics, I mean not the the engineering concepts and things like that, but by basics, I mean the actual introductory things. Like, take example that you want to find some of the vulnerabilities in a web application. So you guys need to understand that what is the output of it. That, take example that the hacker is able to get a root access for of the particular website. So he has to see the POC first, and that is the reason why, like, he has to see the output first. Only then he'll understand that this is the thing which is going to happen if I'm going to learn this shit, or if I'm going to learn the whatever the concept it is in the world of hacking. So by RF hacking 101 means that I'm going to give you a brief introduction, like not getting into the not going deep down into the into the engineering concepts, but I'm going to make sure that you guys love it. And this is a complete introductory part, so you guys don't need to understand any of the any of the GNU radio companion or things like that, because it's true, it's all for it is all about introductory purpose basically. So RF hacking 101. So let me start it with a little bit about me. So I'm a wireless and hardware security enthusiast. I love making and breaking stuff with hardware. I have worked with various, I've worked with various maker spaces, which you probably known as hacker spaces. So I have worked with National Innovation Foundation and places like that as well. So, um, so I'm a hardware and wireless security enthusiast. I love electronics. I love making and breaking stuff with hardware. If at all you guys are interested in making and breaking stuff with hardware, take it from an Arduino, a Raspberry Pi, to even to even reverse engineering circuits, or even an engine control unit of a car. I'm always curious when it comes to hardware hacking. So just give me a just text me or email. Just give me an email, or just like we can work on various projects. I'm also a part-time vlogger, also storyteller. I also tell stories like I also tell stories on my Instagram page. The username is basically the storytelling hacker. You can follow me on Instagram as well. So there I post various kinds of stories and various kinds of images, or some kinds of uh, products which can be like photos of the products in a hacker's perspective. So take example that there is a multimeter. Now I'm going to take a snapshot of the multimeter and tell you guys a story behind it, that how I was able to use the multimeter, and I've learned like using a multimeter and things like that. Basically everything in a hacker's perspective, that is like storytelling in a hacker's perspective. So uh, like I said, the storytelling hacker. I'm also the OASP Nagpur chapter leader. We also conduct meetups every month. So if at all you guys are from Nagpur, just let me know. We can just we can just work on some projects as well, and we can just collab and do a lot of things, like making and breaking stuff, like I said, with electronics and hardware. So so a bit disclaimer, I must say, like a small disclaimer. So basically, like, we are talking about hacking with radio frequencies. So like, don't expect us, or don't expect me to teach you Wi-Fi hacking here. So now this thing is very like different. What I mean to say by Wi-Fi hacking is that getting a normal password to to anybody's network to access free internet. So if at all you guys are using a Kali Linux system just to use free internet access, you can do much more with it. That is what I'm trying to say you. Like, it's not just about using free internet connections and spying others. there is a lot more you can do when it comes to wireless. You just have to understand, and you just have to be keep on exploring in the world of wireless. So that's what I mean. Like, we are talking about hacking radio frequencies, so don't expect us to learn Wi-Fi hacking here. Also, by RF hacking, I mean to say that we are not going to hack into radio frequencies. Now that is impossible. Like, how can you hack into a radio frequency? You are going to hack devices which operate on radio frequency, like I said, which operate on radio frequencies, and then you are going to basically hack into devices like wirelessly. And that is the reason why I'm saying here is hacking with radio frequencies, not hacking radio frequencies. So so this is the question most of the people might be thinking, like, why do I carry wireless? Like, you know, because wireless is everywhere. Like, everything is wireless, guys. You are living in the world of Internet of Things now, straight from your car to your home, taking like all of the devices, all of the all of the devices, smart devices, which we say, like from refrigerators, calculators, to Alexa, or things like that. Like, everything is wireless today. So that is the reason why, like, most of the people think that if it's wireless, then people cannot see it, and if you cannot see it, then it could be secure. That is the most that is not correct, to be honest, because if you cannot see it, you cannot guarantee that it is secure, basically. So, because everything is wireless, like I said, and radio frequencies are everywhere, and Internet of Things, like, basically, like, all of the Internet of Things, IoT devices which are currently in the market, like all of the smart devices which we say, are most of them, like 99% of them, I think all of them, like, work on wireless radio frequencies. So why not learn about it? Like, why not expand your knowledge in the world of hacking? Like, why to be just confined in the world of application security? Like, why not to get into wireless and do a lot of stuff with it as well? So that is why I've chosen as RF hacking. So this is the current scenario with RF hacking. Now, take example that there are, this is a bad guy, basically. Now, I know that you all guys might be knowing about Mr. Robot. So this is Elliot Anderson, basically. So take Elliot Anderson as an elite hacker. Take him as a very good hacker when it comes to RF, a very good RF security expert. So this is the scenario when they hear about that people are coming into the world of RF hacking. That these people are like, yeah, I'm in. Like, when there are beginners coming up into this field, people are always ready to help. But the problem is, very less people are interested in this world, because they're very scared, to be honest. They're very scared that they have to learn some engineering concepts, like um, DSP, and like also physics as well, sometimes the wireless thing, frequencies and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to discuss in the later slides. So these all things are basically required. So uh, most of them are basically scared. So the people who are very good into it, they are like, cool. Like, you can just come over, you can just have a discussion with them, and they are always ready to help. So it is just that we beginners are not that much interested, and we are very scared of learning engineering concepts or things like that when it comes to RF. So it's our fault, basically, that we are the RF hacking world is not that much, people are not aware of that, basically. So these are the basically key scenarios which I would like to discuss. So this has been taken by the Hacker News. um, so like, let me explain one of the wireless hack. So unlock every Volkswagen sold since 1995, which said that car thieves can unlock 100 millions Volkswagen with a simple hack. So basically, um, what this happens is, so people are using wireless radio frequencies in order to lock into their cars. So as we all use a normal remote, like, what do we do? Like, after we get out of the car, we just press the button of the wireless remote, it gets locked, then we think that the car has been locked. So what basically can happen is our so what basically can happen is our key which has been which has been emitted, like take example that you're giving out a data. um, okay, so I'll use a much more similar way, um, as much more easier way to for you, so that you guys can understand it. Take example that somebody has logged his car. Now with the same frequency, I'm going to discuss these slides as well. So your cars can be hacked. The bottom line is just what I'm trying to tell you is that your cars can be unlocked by using the same kind of devices which can be cloned, and then the doors can be unlocked, and anybody can get into your car. Like, it's not it's not magic, it's all about science. So and there's also one more hack which I would like to discuss. Key sniffer lets attackers steal keystrokes from wireless keyboards. So radio based wireless keyboards, mic that use a special USB dongle to communicate with PC can expose all of your secrets. So basically, we all, like I said, we all are living in the world of wireless. So we have wireless keyboards and mouse as well. So anybody can anybody into the range can sniff into our wireless radio frequencies, and then try to demodulate the data which signals, and then try to understand uh, what are the things which has been emitted, that what is the data which has been emitted, and when it comes to wireless. So wirelessly he can basically sniff all the data, and then he can basically reverse engineer, he can basically demodulate the data, and then try to understand the packets, and this is how the keystrokes can be stored. Now it is just like a keylogger, guys. So um, in a keylogger, what happens is whenever you press a single button, you the hacker comes to know about it, that this button has been pressed, and this is the password and things like that. Like, every keystroke is being monitored or recorded. So this is the same thing, but this is just happening wirelessly. So so like I mentioned the source as well. So the first ever anti-drone weapon that shoot down UAVs, that is the unmanned aerial vehicles, and with radio frequencies. So, like, as I said, we all are basically talking about radio frequencies. Uh, so take example that somebody has designed up a gun which can be used to trigger, like which can be used to shoot radio frequencies, which can jam into various kinds of drones. So there are some drones, like military drones, which have been designed by the military services. So one can if at all a guy is seeing a drone, he can just simply use his weapon, that is the gun, to emit some radio frequencies which can jam the drone basically. So yeah, so in the last I would the last case study I would like to discuss is that I'm going to discuss a lot, so don't worry with that. This is just a normal news, or the things which have already been happened. So this antenna can remotely steal devices from the devices using sound waves. Now just imagine, guys, that this is a small concept of hardware security, that whenever you like take example that I have somebody has installed a backdoor in my laptop or a computer. Now what the backdoor does is, the microphone which has been already, which is like pre installed in my laptop, it goes into the recording mode. And just by the the way I'm typing these commands, I hope you all guys are getting. So the way I'm typing these commands, there is a noise which is coming. So according to the noise's frequency, you can basically steal the data or determine what has been typed on a keyboard. So this is basically which a different kind of hack. Hackers always think out of the box. So this is also a type of hack which I'm going to do. So yeah, so it's all about physics. So like I'm not going to bore you guys with all of the engineering concepts like I said, but there are some things which has to be told or which has to be explained. Now this is mandatory. Like if you at all you want to get into bug bounty, you guys must understand how internet works. So this is the thing which is basically required. RF basics, like I said, frequencies. It's all about frequencies. Like every device is emitting radio frequencies, like every IoT device. So let me just, okay, just a minute, guys. Okay, so if the frequency is between 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz, then it is a radio wave. So these are all like a simple, some boring textbook definitions, which I have to say and make you guys understand. So in simple words, frequency is the number of cycles a radio wave completes in a given time duration. Usually the time duration is measured in seconds. So the number of cycles per second is the frequency of radio waves. So take example, let me give you a small example over here. It has been stated. So yeah, so you guys can see the frequency here. So there are 3 cycles per second. So yeah, so IoT devices communicate over wireless protocols. Now they use EM waves for communication, like electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves can be radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiation, visible light, ultraviolet light, X-rays. So like how the hell are you guys going to classify it? So radio frequencies are described as multiples of hertz. So KHZ, like KHZ, which we say is kilohertz. So that when it comes to kilohertz, it is like 1,000 cycles per second. MH is basically megahertz. So megahertz is basically million cycles per second. And same as gigahertz, that GHZ. So gigahertz are basically billion cycles per second. So the process of mixing or adding our data into the carrier wave is termed as modulation. Now, this is just a simple, I've tried to make the presentation as simple as possible. So, like I said, this is 101. So, modulation schemes, analog modulation and digital modulation. Now, there are two kinds of modulation schemes. So, amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation are in analog modulation, and ASK, FSK, and PSK are in digital modulation, which is amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, and phase shift keying. So carrier waves is used for carrying something. Now, let me tell you guys is these are the extreme basics which you guys will require. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to get into the depthness like I said, but I'm going to show you in the end of the webinar like how cars were hacked using some devices, using some hacker tools. So transmitter, like I said, it is a device which is used to generate and transmit radio waves. A transmitter is also determined as TX. So whenever you see a TX in any of the scientific language, it's transmitter. Receiver. So receiver is a device which is used to receive radio waves transmitted by, which is used to receive the waves transmitted by transmitter. There is also something called transceiver. Now, transceiver is basically like it is a device of capable of sending and receiving the radio waves, both. Like it can send and it can receive both. So that is the reason why it is called as transceiver. And so we need a hardware device to capture radio signal, and software to analyze the signals as well. So like you all guys might be thinking that what like which is the device which we are basically going to use, like how the hell can I sniff into radio frequencies, like so so some devices is capable of capturing and receiving signals, and some are capable of transmitting and receiving the signal. So a device which can receive and capture the signal is called as receiver, like I said, or can be stated as RX. And a device which can receive and transmit the signal is called as transceiver. So or RxTS. So below is a list of device along with the such kind of capabilities, which can uh, transmit, which can receive, and which can do both, like transmitting and receiving radio frequencies. So this is the everybody's favorite gadget. If at all you guys have heard about such videos going on and things like that, like in the world of RF, this is the Swiss knife. Like everybody is aware of this thing, and so yeah. So this is the hack RF one. It can receive and transmit both. Like I said, RX and TX. It has a frequency range of about 1 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, and basically it is an open source hardware. So you guys can modify it, have a look at the schematics, and do your own modification when it comes to hardware. So as I said, open source hardware. uh, it has been image source I've given. So you guys can check this out, check this cool gadget. It's just that it is a little bit expensive. Like, not a little bit, like it's way too expensive, but very good when it comes to advanced level RF hacking. So there is also one more device which is a cheaper one, and this one is my favorite. So it costs only around like 15 bucks, $15, like I said, not bucks, like $15. So it can receive only. It has a frequency range of 24 megahertz to 1766 megahertz, and most importantly, this one is cheap. It's easy to get this device. Like you can, although you can just receive and analyze them, analyze the frequencies, but it is just that it is much more cheaper and pocket friendly and affordable. Always good for beginners to start with. So you can just grab this and just get started with your own thing. So I'm not going to discuss about all of the available hardware in the market, because that will be a bit my point is that my point is to make you guys be aware of this field. RF hacking, very big. uh, so you cannot discuss about the so I'm not going to discuss. That is the reason, because there are a lot of devices in here which have already been introduced, specially designed for RF hacking. So you guys can find that out. So let me discuss some RF protocols. Zigbee, like our favorite protocol. There's one more. Let me tell you: BLE, uh, Bluetooth Low Energy, Wi-Fi, the IEEE 802.15.4, and the Z-Wave. So, so let me let's do some practical thing. Like as you guys are here with me for a very long time. Like, thank God that you guys are listening and tolerating me. So let's do some practical work. Like, so what is the thing which is the most important when it comes to hacking? In general, like not just not just a network pen test or any kind of other pen test. Just asking that what is the the most important thing. So the most important thing is recon. So how are you guys going to recon? Like, how the hell like how is this possible to recon hardware? So let me tell you that let me tell you first one more concept, like one more thing. It is that all of the radio frequency emitting device, or the device which have RX, TX, or at least TX, have the FCC ID. Like, have FCC ID over there. Even if you have a smartphone, it will have an FCC ID. Now take example that I have an iPhone. Like, I just have my phone here beside me. Let me just show you guys the FCC ID. I'm not sure if at all you guys can see. Can you see this? Like, okay, this is a little bit. This is a mirror image. So so you guys can basically get over to fcc.io, enter the FCC number, and you will get the complete details of the device with the operating frequency. Now, like I said, recon of the hardware device is a bit different thing. That this is the new thing which you guys might be learning. So let me just show you guys a bit something, like show you guys something in a practical manner, so you guys can understand it. Can you guys see my screen? This is the first important thing which I must ask you first. Like, can you guys see my screen? Let me just check. Hope it works. Like, if at all I'm sharing the screen, it should work. So Okay, so let me just go over fcc.io and hit enter. So yeah, so I hope you all guys can see my screen. Yeah, you guys can see it. So like I said, that every frequency emitting device has an FCC ID. So all you have to do is just to go to fcc.io and search for your phone's FCC ID. If at all you guys want to search about phones, so all you have to do is just to search for fcc.io, and this is the FCC ID. So this is the place where you need to enter the FCC ID. So I've checked it previously. Let me see if at all. Okay, I'll have to enter it once more. So the FCC ID, which has been basically given at the back of my iPhone, is BGC dash E3042A. Yeah, and I'll just hit search. So as you guys can see that it is searching. Damn, I have bad internet connection, I guess. So yeah, so okay, uh, yeah. So uh, so as you all guys can see that okay, just a minute. Yeah. So this is the FCC ID of the complete thing. Okay, so you guys are not able to see the browser. Only presentation is shown. Damn, this is bad. Okay, so I'll just type into the browser. Yeah. So I hope you guys can see this. Okay, cool. So this is the yeah. So you guys can see that each and every single component which has been installed in my Apple device. So you can just search for get into the details and read about everything. And there are also like I said, the frequency range. So this is the frequency range. This is like, which you all guys can see, it's 2402.0, the lower frequency, and the upper frequency which has been given as 2480. So so you can just hit on details and get other kinds of details as well. uh, so I'm just showing you guys that this is the way a recon of hardware can be done. um, so I'm just going to get back just a minute. Yeah. So coming back to the actual presentation. Yeah, can you guys see this? I hope you all can see it. Just a minute. I hope you all guys can see this. Just a minute. Yeah. So, like I said, you can just go to fcc.io, enter the FCC number, you'll get the complete details of the device with its operating frequency. What other thing can be done is take example that you have a remote, car remote. So you can check for its FCC ID, check for its operating frequency, and then tune in your own hardware device to to that particular frequency range, and then start sniffing into the air, and then you guys will be able to get the data, like get the signals into the into your GNU radio companion. So basically GNU radio companion is application like you can also use GQRX, that is much better. So in GQRX is a software basically which has to be installed into your Linux system, and you can just connect your RTL SDR. like I discussed about RTL SDR. This is the RTL SDR, the real text software defined radio. So you can just connect your RTL SDR, start the GQRX, and then get started with your RF hacking. So yeah, so you'll also get juicy data sheets. Like I said, information gathering when it comes to hardware hacking. Data sheets are the most greatest thing to have, because people are just very free to give away the private information of their hardware devices, because they think that that's secure. So even even some critical information from the website, like you can also get some critical information from some of the websites, but that is um, that's not usual. So yeah, so lastly I'm going to show you guys a demo. So like, before showing the demo, let me tell you that like this is the most common common disclaimer, which you guys can see our warnings that we are not responsible for any of the legal actions done by you. So RF, in when it comes to RF, like, you guys must understand that you guys must understand about the laws, which is the most important thing. Like, you know you cannot just use some big devices without any knowledge of laws, and because that will lead you to punishments as well, because there are some laws in India when it comes to emitting radio frequencies in everywhere, in all over the country, all over the world. So let me just, guys, just show you people a bit of this thing. Just a minute. So I know you guys cannot see it, but I think, yeah. Now I just, yeah. So this is the RF replay attack. I'm going to show you guys in the form of a video, like that demo. Can Hope you guys can see the video first. I'm just going to mute it. Check if it is working. Yeah, it's working. So this is the car. This is just I don't know which car is this. Swift type basically. So just a minute, guys. Hmm. Video चल रहा है. Yeah, my apologies, guys. So let me just continue with the video. So you can see the car is basically open right now. So the person has locked his car with his this thing, with his remote, and there is one person who has kept his uh, key over there with having a hack RF. Like, see, you can see this is the hack RF with his laptop in his hand. So yeah, so what basically has happened is the researcher or the person has pressed the unlock or lock button, so the frequency gets emitted into the air, which has been received by this receiver. The hack RF can, like I said, hack RF can RX and TX both. So hack RF is receiving this thing, and so like once it has received, it is going to capture the signals, and so basically he has kept the key over there, and now you guys can see that So the person has used his the person has captured the signals in his RF in his hack RF. So he captured the signal, he has analyzed it, and now he uses to transmit the same frequency. Once he has cached this frequency, he's analyzing it and then replaying this attack. So this is basically a RF replay attack. By the name itself, you can understand it. So this is how cars are being unlocked. So yeah, you can see the door gets opened up. So I'm going to show you guys one more example. So this is a bit better. Yeah. So you can see this is the GNU radio companion. Yeah, that's an antenna. So the car is locked right now. Both of the cars are locked. So that is the TV. That is the car remote. Uh, the car gets unlocked like a usual way, and the car is locked as normal. Normal. So this is the GNU radio companion. So these are the basically that is the reason why I was talking about frequencies first, because these are things will be required in GNU radio companion. And yeah, so the car is unlocked. So this car is locked. So it has emitted the frequency on the particular frequency range. And see, the car gets unlocked. The car gets unlocked, guys. The windows and everything, it's all yours. It is just like, my master, I'm all yours. So just imagine what is the impact level one can have when it comes to when he has a hack RF. So just imagine what you guys can do when it comes to that, when it comes to RF hacking. So just get back to. I'm just going to share my screen again. Yeah. So just getting back to the presentation. So guys, like that's it from me, guys. If at all you guys have any question, you can uh, catch me up on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. My username is hack. And so that's it, guys. Thank you.